Electrocast.
There's a change happening in the way we live, the way we work, the way we spend our money and make our decisions. We are evolving to be more conscious in our actions in a way that serves the world and makes it a better place. Welcome to the Ethical Evolution. The Ethical Evolution podcast is brought to you by Ethical Change Agency. I'm Bindi, I'm the founder, and my mission is to help ethical entrepreneurs and holistic healers to find their voice through spiritual coaching and podcasting. I'm honoured to bring you the stories of those who create change through healing, kindness, innovation, purpose, and spirit. Understanding that to create collective change, we need to be the change. It all begins with us. Manuj Aggerwal is a global thought leader who has been in AI for 15 years and has 4 patents in AI. He has served clients like Microsoft, IBM, Pearson Education and more, producing $500 million in value for them. His work has impacted over 10 million lives and has been mentioned by the likes of President Obama and Bill Gates. If you're curious about AI and its potential, do not miss this conversation with Manuj. Welcome, Manuj, to the Ethical Evolution.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Now, you're joining us from Vancouver, and for those people who don't know who you are and haven't heard of you, can you please go ahead and tell us?
Sure. So my name is Manuj Aggerwal, and I am the founder and chief innovation officer of a company called Tetranoodle Technologies. So we are an AI consulting company, and we help businesses sort of understand AI, implement AI in their businesses. My background, I have been in technology for about 30 years, and I have 4 patents in artificial intelligence myself, authored 2 books on technology, and I was recently recognized as one of the leading thought leaders in AI in the world. We have worked with hundreds of startups building their technology, worked with large corporations like Microsoft, IBM, Pearson Education. One of the projects that we delivered, it actually got special mentions from President Obama and Bill Gates.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm speaking to the right guy then, thankfully. Now, I was just saying to you, I have a million questions about AI. It seems nowadays, everywhere we turn, we can't escape AI. You've just got to go through your feeds nowadays and there's AI this, AI that. And the more we unravel it, the more we're seeing how it's embedding into our lives. It's not something we can escape, is it?
No, because the fact is that, first of all, AI has been around for decades. It's actually started in the 70s. And when we think about how AI has been in our lives already, what you just mentioned, the feeds has AI, but people don't realize that the feed itself is AI. Because Facebook started, 2005 or so, and all the news, all the information that we consume on platforms similar to Facebook, they're all AI algorithms tuned to give us the information that we are interested in. Not only interested in, but also we will find engaging enough that we will click on it, we will, engage with it, we will yell at it, whatever it is. So the algorithms have been optimized for sensationalism. So this misconception that AI is new is something that I try to address, that AI has already been part of our lives. If you take out your mobile phone, everything is controlled by AI. Even whatever political view people have these days, elections, even at the highest levels, are won and lost by AI, right? So it has been around for a long time. Now, what has happened is that in November 2022, when ChatGPT was released, the everyday person got to understand and feel and touch the technology, which has been available to people in the know and with power and money. So now everybody can realize the power of AI.
And I think that's really where it's skyrocketed, hasn't it? The everyday person can have this technology on their phone now, and what it's spitting out is absolutely unbelievable, and people like their minds are just like spinning on, well, what does this mean for us now? Particularly I know schools and teachers, they were worried that kids would just jump on Chat GPT and just get an assignment written for them. But there's ways that it can actually complement the work we do and make life easier for us rather than, make it difficult, right?
Absolutely. See, the thing is that AI, as it happens, it will force us to shift many paradigms. So, for example, let's talk about education. For us, specifically, what happened was when the industrial age started, we needed specialized people to do certain things. And so we needed to make sure that they are proficient in those skills before they, operate any system, machine, whatever that is. And we started thinking about education as learning something and taking an exam and then writing the exam and passing certain criteria. Somebody else said, now you're educated, right? If we go back several centuries, information and education was passed on through storytelling, generation after generation, even before writing was invented. So we are talking about human evolution now, right? So now if we think about that paradigm shifting now from going from industrial age to AI age, so education is not about remembering, but education may be about experiencing life, doing more hands-on work, and then, as you said, AI assisting that experience, and the teacher's role may be more about guiding that experience or something along the. And this is just one industry, right? One specific instance. A lot of different paradigms are going to shift in the next 5 to 10 years as people understand what this really means for them.
And I think one of the ones that sort of opened my eyes most recently was in regards to voice technology, because I'm also a narrator, so I narrate books and all kinds of things. And, I've got agents and they're very, very worried about, people picking up our voices and using it for not great purposes and without our permission. There's the famous case of where someone's voice was picked up and used for TikTok without their permission. So, how do we prevent our own IP, for want of a better word, from being taken and used elsewhere without our permission?
See, once again, we are in a transition period, so I totally understand the worry that you have and others have. And any new technology that comes out, it goes through certain period of uncertainty, right? Like what is going to happen. Even when, like, for example, the internet came out, or for that matter, when the car was invented or the steam engine was invented, all these inventions cause us to take a pause and say, okay, what does that mean? So I'll address it in multiple parts. One part is that impersonation.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Can be done even today, even before AI was available, right? So people who are going to impersonate and take advantage of technology or situation or do something nefarious, they're going to do it regardless of what technology is available or not available. Now, this makes it super easy to cause harm, but at the same time, similar technology is also available for good guys to make counterweight, sort of take counterweight measures to fix that problem. So one possible solution could be, just like movies have, or even like products have authenticity seals, something, right? So you can say, okay, I'm buying an authentic product, or this movie is rated PG-13 or something along those lines. So those kind of regulations are in place, but it took them a while to be in place, but now they are common practice. So you can imagine something along those lines coming into existence, where we will be able to say, oh, okay, this is an authentic a clip, or this is an AI generated clip, or what have you. So but until all that dust settles, there will be a gray area here for some time.
And it's one of those things that we don't have a trademark on our voice, do we? It's like not regulated, and someone could. And I just think of how much of my voice is out there on the internet. I'm like, oh my God, someone's going to pick that up one day. Yeah. But it's just one of those things that we have to learn and put a framework in place for, right?
See, another thing I will say, add here is that if you have your voice out there, I think it's a huge advantage, because people who will listen to a fake video, they will not be able to relate that to your existing persona that you have already created, right? I think so. That's an added advantage for people who are already out there. I mean, for people who are starting net new, I mean, again, there is a gray area. I'm pretty sure if it comes down to something more important, high stakes, even today we can find a solution. I mean, technology experts like me, I mean, that is our bread and butter, to figure out how to, make something, find a solution to a problem. But yeah, I mean, until all these solutions become mainstream, we'll have to deal with it on case-by-case basis.
Now, I know earlier you mentioned President Obama, and we've seen technology do what they call deep fakes, particularly of him. I mean, how can we tell the difference on what's legit and what's not?
Well, I think that ship has sailed now. Like, we are in this situation until there are, as I said, new mechanisms or new regulations. For example, in US, Europe, and Canada, there has been draft regulations on AI, but they are very, very early stage and very thin on substance. So as these kind of issues come up, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more and more legislation, and like, for example, the inventor or the CEO of OpenAI, which is the company that built ChatGPT, he was testifying in US Congress this week, and his recommendation is that there should be independent legislation bodies who regulate AI. So when that happens, these questions will be raised, and I'm pretty sure technology is already there. So something that can create a deepfake, counterweight to that will be to detect a deepfake. So it should not be a big technological challenge, but the regulations need to be in place, right?
And I mean, no doubt you see so many cool things when it comes to AI and technology in what you do. I mean, where do you see the future of AI going?
See, in my opinion, like, we are entering almost, this is like an inflection point in human evolution, in my opinion, and a lot of other people agree, because we are entering something like a post-thought era. Because before AI, everything used to be more who has the more cognitive power, who has the insight to connect the dots and find solutions. Now with AI, a lot of that will be offloaded, right? A lot of that will be given way to machines, and then mostly I think we will be focused on more human-like sort of activities. Our jobs will become more like empathizing with people, listening to people, sort of more creative kind of work, and these kind of shifts have happened in the past as well, like the Renaissance period in the I think 13th century or so. So there was a 300-year period where artists and musicians and painters, they were at the top of the food chain in society, right? So I think we will be entering that kind of era now.
And, in the work that you do, what's an example of innovation that you've been a part of that's used AI?
Sure. So I'll share the one project that got mentioned from Obama. So in higher education universities, there's a big problem that almost 30% of the students drop out of their degree program in the first 2 years. And the reason is that they find that these programs or the subjects that they have picked, they are of no interest to them, or they are too difficult for them to pass that exam. So what we did was we created AI algorithms which match a particular student with the right courses. And this was based on a lot of historical data from hundreds of thousands of students. And so as students come in without any bias, they are recommended these courses, just like Netflix recommends shows to us. So the result was that every student that went through that program, they actually, on average, took 20% more courses to complete their degree program than was necessary. And the dropouts rate declined dramatically. So that was a very impactful project to help students, complete their degree program and help society not lose out on a graduate. So that project got mentioned from Obama and Bill Gates. So I can go on, I can describe more, but I hope that sort of gives you an idea about the way that AI can be deployed.
Yeah, that's an excellent example. But I know years ago, my background is in digital. I work with websites day to day, and large ones as well. And I actually got to see a content management system that was using machine learning as part of its search engine background. Is a lot of the work in AI still done using machine learning?
So machine learning is sort of like, how can I say it? Like it's sort of the lower level of AI, because AI is basically machine learning is going to learn a pattern, a particular pattern in data, right? What AI is doing, AI is based on a concept called deep learning. So what that does is it creates multiple layers of finding these patterns, and just like our neurons fire in our mind, every stimulus that we sense with our senses, it's interpreted by neurons firing in our mind, right? So in AI, in deep learning, these layers are given certain weights and said, okay, if let's say we are calculating what will be the weather tomorrow, so we will need to take into account, the season, the location of the place on the planet, sun's movements, moon's movements, all of that. And now we will give certain weights to the measurements of these variables. And now AI will be able to tell, based on all these variables, what is the most likely outcome of the weather. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And okay. I guess, like when we look at something like ChatGPT, and say you ask it something, and it basically is indexing everything that's on the internet, isn't it? Like it's picking out everything that's on everything anywhere on the internet, and then finding the answer through deep learning.
Well, so the difference in this case is, let me clarify what they have done with OpenAI. They have learned the sequence of words that come after certain word, certain phrase.
Yep.
So for example, if I say hello, generally the phrase that follows hello is how are you, right? So OpenAI has learned this pattern, as you said, by looking at the entire internet and the history of whatever has been written so far. And basically it is training the artificial intelligence just like we train a human child, right? We teach them ABC first, and then we say, okay, you put these characters together and you make a word, and then you put the word together and you make a sentence. That's how we teach child as well, right? So it's the same mechanism being applied. Yes, it is deep learning, but it is using deep learning to understand how humans communicate with each other by learning that language.
And I know there's a lot of rumblings as well in the customer service sector, particularly online, where AI and particular chatbots are becoming much more sophisticated, because I know most people historically have been quite annoyed with chatbots because they're not, we know they're a robot, right? And they're programmed a certain way. They're getting a lot better though, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you will start seeing more and more that these chatbots will become better. And I believe, again, this is my belief based on understanding human nature and technology. I believe that most people will actually prefer talking to AI-based chatbots um, because um, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's better and more convenient not to be judged or not to get into like any heated arguments, because generally in situations where you contact a customer service representative, you are in some sort of a trouble, like you need help, and if a machine can solve that problem quickly, I think people will prefer that. But in my opinion, what will probably end up happening will be, as the chat starts, I think we will be given an option. Do you want to talk to a human or you want to talk to AI?
And, an excellent example of that nowadays is Snapchat's AI chat. Everybody's got one in their Snapchat if they have an account. And I was testing it out the other day and I was like, wow, this is actually really good, and I can see it being used in certain contexts around mental health, things like that, where people just need someone to talk to without that judgment, and a safe space to actually share things. I think it's got a lot of potential in that field as well, in health and well-being.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's on the roadmap for you right now? What's ahead?
See, right now, this is a huge technology wave that is going to occur over the next 5 to 10 years and beyond. And a lot of people are confused, they are fearful, there's a lot of misinformation. So the first order of business is to help people understand the potential of the technology, what will happen if they don't embrace the technology, which will be quite disastrous in many cases. I think people will find it difficult to compete if they don't embrace AI. And also tell people about the opportunity, because the CEO of IBM, for example, he has said that AI is going to add about $10 trillion to the world economy by 2030.
Wow.
So right now the world economy is about $80 trillion. So 12.5% of the world GDP will be added in the next 7 years, right? So, and I think that's that's an underestimated number. I think that number will be higher. So that's the first order of business, to inform people what is happening. The second step is to actually help implement these solutions, brainstorm, because as we said earlier, paradigms will need to shift, and we'll need to come up with brand new solutions and imagine sort of a brand new world based on how AI disrupts industries and sectors.
Yeah. Oh man, my mind is spinning just as you're talking. I'd love to brainstorm with you sometime. I'm just thinking about e-commerce sector and how that could just skyrocket in this space. The amount that could be done. And I'm pretty sure Amazon probably already uses it to some degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it could go that extra step already. It's exciting, and on the other hand, scary. And I think for a lot of people who don't know anything about it, how can we stop them from being fearful or something like this?
See, the thing about fear is that human beings are afraid of the unknown always, right? So the best way to overcome the fear is to sign up for a free account and then start playing with it, just taking baby steps and try to just get familiar with it. And that takes away the fear, because then you start to see possibilities. And then you can start to take your own path, start to go deeper, ask more questions, think about how you can use this technology in your life and business. or if you need to move faster, or if you need more substantial help, then work with a professional. But these are the two ways. Fear will only be overcome by actually doing it.
And this is it, if we get in and learn, we can't do any harm. We can't do any harm. All we can do is learn and spread that as well. Now, if people want to find out more about what you do and get in touch, where can they go?
Yeah, so you can go to my social connection website. It's manuj.ca. So it's my first name.ca, or you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, manujaggarwal.com.
Excellent. And just your company again, for people who want to check it out?
Yeah, Tetra Noodle Technologies. It's tetranoodle.com.
I love the name. Absolutely love it. Now, last big question for you, Manuj. What's the change you'd like to see in the world, and how can we bring it to life?
I think people need to realize how much potential they have. There's so much joy and happiness and abundance people can get if they just realize how much potential they have and started believing in themselves. And if we can build a world like that, that'll be an awesome world. If only. And I think it starts with us, and that's what this whole show is about. So thank you so much for being a part of the Ethical Evolution. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Ethical Evolution podcast. If you're ready to be the change and would love to work with me on finding your voice through spiritual coaching or creating your own podcast with impact, visit ethicalchangeagency.com.
Hey, it's Tim from 50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys, the comedy podcast you had no idea you needed. Join Ben, Jeff, and me as we continue our musical road trip back through the years and around the globe. See, just when you thought all white guys were like Joe Rogan, you come across 3 educators trying to remember when we were cool.
50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys.
Electricast.
Hey there, I'm DC. I host the rock podcast Back to the Arena, The Interviews. It's about a 30-minute podcast where I talk one-on-one with a band who has released new music. You can find us on all the best podcast sites like Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, and more. If you're a rock fan like me, subscribe today to Back to the Arena, The Interviews.
Electricast.